I've installed an enormous 4.5 metre Fiat sign on my garage wall. Let me tell you how I got it and how I installed it. Hello viewers, and welcome to another episode of Punto How To. If you are new here, my name is Andy, welcome to the channel. If you are a regular viewer of the channel, then you will already be familiar with my 1998 Fiat Punto Cabriolet, which I have here. In this video, I'm not going to be doing anything related to this car particularly. You may have noticed that there has been some changes in the garage, one of which is obviously I've now got this lovely shelf which I installed to help me lay out some tools and make things a bit more accessible. But also, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you may have spotted that we have a slightly new addition to the garage in the form of a 16-foot long Fiat sign which came from a Fiat dealership. It was a Fiat dealership that was in the process of closing down. I believe the owners of it were retiring, and well, let's just say that going on Facebook Marketplace late at night is not a good idea for your budget, your wallet. It's not a good financial decision to make, is to go on Facebook Marketplace late at night. I stumbled across this guy selling some bits and pieces that were specific to Fiat dealerships. He didn't actually have this sign advertised at the time, but talking to him, he told me that he had some other little bits and pieces. He sent me some pictures of the sign. I couldn't get a firm answer on what the actual measurements of it were. Needless to say, I had somewhat underestimated how big it was. But I went and picked it up and I've installed it in the garage, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So let's have a little look at the story of how I picked it up, got it home, and then the installation process as well, so you can see what I went through with that. You joined me this morning as I am on a bit of a mission today. I'm back in the car once again, and I'm driving cross country to visit. I've been invited over to visit a Fiat dealership that has closed down, and they're getting rid of a lot of old Fiat stuff. So I'm in the car, in the Mini today, because the Mini is the biggest car I've got. So I should be able to get plenty of stuff in the Mini. And there's one thing I've already agreed to pick up, but we're going to have a look and see if there's anything else worth having when we get there. I've got a 3-ish hour drive ahead of me, and I've agreed to meet the guy at 1 PM, and then I've got another 3-hour drive home again, and then I've got to be back in time to pick my son up from the childminder at 5 o'clock. So fingers crossed we'll be back in time, otherwise I'm going to be in deep doo-doo with my wife, who is at work today. So if I am not back in time, she's going to have to leave work slightly early to pick up the baby. So let's see how we get on. We have about 140 miles to get to where we're going, and the weather is bright and sunny, as you can possibly tell, but it is also a storm going on at the moment in the UK, so it's pretty windy, which you might be able to hear on the microphone. I don't know how that's going to affect things. I'm hoping it won't affect too much, but you can never be too sure. So join me in a bit, we'll see how we get on. I'm about 10 miles now from where I'm headed. I've made really good time. It's about 12:15. I've obviously got to wait until 1 o'clock, which is when I'm meeting the guy. So as a consequence, I will probably go and get a cup of tea or a coffee somewhere, just to waste some time until he's ready to meet, and then we can go and pick up what we came here for. Getting very close now. I had some trouble finding the place, but I'm nearly there now.
A few moments later.
Road, is this the road? Is this the road?
It was about this point I got lost, really lost, and the best bit was it turned out I was driving past the same place that I needed to go repeatedly.
Restaurant. Let's see if I can find it. If not, I'm going to have to call the guy and find out how to bloody get there.
The problem was I knew the man was in a meeting until 1, so I probably wouldn't get hold of him. I was a bit stuck, and then...
here it is. We have made it. Now we just need to find out, 1, where to park, and 2, where we're going from here.
It was at this point that not getting a proper measurement for the sign came back to haunt me. It was enormous. Thankfully it broke down into 2 parts, but it was still a tight squeeze.
Right, well, we're back on the go. We have fitted it in, just as you can see. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but we are back in the car, and we are now got another 160-mile drive. I think on the way back we will stop off somewhere and grab something to eat, but for now I'm just gonna keep moving and try and get as many miles under my wheels as possible, so as I avoid all the traffic for things like rush hour and stuff.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to record inside the dealership, but they had some other cool stuff there as well. Unfortunately, my budget wouldn't stretch to everything they had to offer. At the time of making this video, there was still another one of these signs on his eBay account, and a lot of other stuff as well, so I'll pop a link in the description below if you want to check out any of his stuff. If it's not there, it's probably all sold. So as you can see from this shot from my GoPro, it was a really tight squeeze inside the car, and what you can't tell is that it absolutely stunk. This sign had been on the roof of the building for years, and I think it had been used as a cat's toilet for a good many of those years.
You join me now in the critical phase of this journey. I have to be back home by 5 PM to pick up my son from nursery. It is now 3 PM and I am 53 miles home. So I should be able to do this. It's saying it's going to take about 55 minutes for me to get home from here. I do need to stop and take a break because the car is moaning at me. So I am going to have to eat into that time a little bit, but I should get home with plenty of time to get him to nursery and then see if he notices that his car seat is on the wrong side of the car.
I got home with just enough time to get the sign unloaded and then get off to the childminder to pick up my son.
Just taking a little break in this video just to ask you a question. So if you are a automotive YouTuber, what I would love for you to do is drop a comment below this video or below any of my videos. Let me know. Let me check out your channel as well so we can see what sort of things you get up to. But we're building a bit of a collection of automotive YouTubers at the moment. We've got our own Discord server. I'd really love to invite anyone who is a YouTuber who does car content to that group, because it's a small community at the moment, but it is growing, and it's a great place to get advice on how to run your channel from people who have been doing it for a long time, people who have been doing it for a short time. So do let me know so that if you want to be part of that group, we can get you invited and get you on the server with us so that you can join in the conversation. It would be great to have you on there. Back to the video. You join me in my garage today where there is no Punto. That is because I have this massive Fiat sign, which is actually so big I can only make it say insulting words, or it can also say something a little bit kinder. Here. I'm hoping it will fit just in this area at the top of the garage. I've bought some timber to frame it because it is quite flimsy. Basically, this style of Fiat logo probably went out of use about 20 years ago when they brought out the round blue badge, which was fitted to the later model Puntos and things like the Panda and stuff like that. So this is a very, very old logo, and it's a bit fragile. I've managed to crack it a few times when I've been moving it around and cleaning it up. It's got a few marks on it because it's sat on the roof of the dealership for many, many years, including, from what you can see, is the imprint of a Dunlop tyre. You can actually read the imprint off it. But I'm going to get it up on the wall, and I'm hopefully going to get it illuminated as well. I've got some LED lighting that I'm going to try and put behind it. So follow me as I try and get this thing mounted on the wall.
I started off by getting the sign laid out in its full length on the floor of the garage. That way I can get some good measurements off it so I can work out how long to make the bits for the frame. And once those measurements were taken, it was time to cut some wood.
So I've got my wood all cut to length and sanded as much as I'm going to sand it at the moment. The next job is I'm going to cut a groove. I'll just chisel this little offcut. So that's the inside edge. So I'm going to cut a groove down the inside edge of every single piece of wood, and then the sign will sit in that groove. So I just need to measure the edges of the sign, and then I can work out how deep I'm going to cut my groove. I might do some test cuts on some of these offcuts first, just to make sure that I'm not going to damage and wreck the piece of wood.
I'm using this handheld router to route out my channel. It's got a 1/4 inch router bit in it. This is extremely noisy and extremely dusty work, so not long after this I did open the garage door to let some air in. It's the next day now, and there is so much dust everywhere that I kick off the day by just hoovering up all of the dust so that I've got a nice clean working space. The next thing I'm going to need to do is clear all of the junk off the wall where I'm going to be mounting the sign. I then start to get the bottom rail of my sign installed on the wall. I can then place the sign on that bottom rail and then build the rest of the frame around it. And before I put the sign in place, I was sure to install a roll of LED strip lighting along the bottom of the frame. That way it's already in place when I put the sign in. This was very cheap off Amazon. I'll pop a link if you're interested in the description below, but it's not really bright enough for the purpose that I'm using it for. I get the first piece of the sign installed. It's quite heavy to lift on your own, especially when you try to lift it up so high above your head. I get it set up, and then I get it framed in on the left hand side and on top. I did a quick test of the brightness with the lights turned off. I then got the rest of the sign installed in place. I was then careful to take my time applying the lights to all of the rest of the frame before installing it all and screwing it to the wall. And here it is. Looks a bit dark on these photos, but it is complete. All that is left to do now is tidy up the garage, put all the tools away, and turn this workshop into something I can actually use. I spent the next couple of days installing some new plug sockets, installing this big shelf along the length of the garage so that I had somewhere to store tools with its over-engineered wall brackets. And the other thing I forgot to mention was I picked up this modern style Fiat logo as well, which is about 65 centimeters across. And here is the finished result. What do you think? Worth it? Tell me in the comments below, or just give me a thumbs up. So what did it cost? Well, the sign itself was £50. Then there were the 5 pieces of timber that I had to buy. They were about £3.50 each from B&Q. Then there were the LED lights that backlit the actual sign when it was installed. They were about £8.99. They were on a deal on Amazon at the time. The other things that I had to pay for were obviously the screws and nuts and bolts and things to attach it to the wall and put the wood together, etc. They probably came to no more than about £5. And then collecting the sign itself was probably another £50 in fuel, because it was a 300 odd mile round trip. I'll lump into that price the cost of a dinner at McDonald's as well. That makes our grand total £131.49.
So hopefully that's been entertaining. I know it's not my usual car content, but I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, do consider giving me a thumbs up, or maybe even subscribing if you want to see more of this kind of content. It's been really nice to see the channel has sort of almost exploded over the last couple of months now that I've started posting videos again, so I'm really enthused by that and keen to show you the progress on this car as I go through the restoration process. I've been in the process of buying up tools and bits and pieces for this so that I can begin the next stage, which is going to be sort of stripping down the engine and doing a rebuild of sorts. I'm still waiting for some bits and pieces on that at the moment, so when I get those through we can start pulling the engine apart. What I would like to say is, if you want to follow a little bit more up-to-date information, I have a thread on the Fiat forum. I've been a member on there for over 10 years now, I think. So I'll pop a link in the description below linking to that thread, so you can have a look and maybe even pitch in with some advice and help on what might be going on with the engine in this car, because any help I can get I'm really grateful for at the moment. And I'm also already thinking about other things that I'm going to be doing to this car, so this is not a restore it to as new condition restoration. This is going to be more of a resto mod kind of situation, so I'm going to be bringing it up to date in terms of technology and the fit and finish and things like that, going through the wiring and making sure that that's all good, repairing any problems there, and cleaning up all the contacts. So I'm probably not going to film all of that. I think that might be a bit boring if I was filming everything that I'll be doing to it. But one of the things it will be getting is it'll be getting a whole new interior at some point, which is an announcement I'm making, I think, for the first time here. So that's quite exciting, and in a coming video I will show you a little bit more about what I've got planned for that. I am also going to, obviously the engine's getting sorted out first, because if I haven't got a good engine there's no point in spending the money on the other parts of the car. So we'll get the engine sorted out, then we'll begin on things like the interior. I've still got the wheels. I have started work on refurbishing the wheels. This is still standing on the old wheels at the moment, which are actually off a much more modern 2016-esque Fiat Punto, which aren't really right for this car. There's a lot to do. The interior needs doing, the bodywork needs doing, the hood, the actual roof, I think it's not in terrible condition, but I think with all the other work that's going on, I think I should replace that as well. But that's going to be probably the last thing to get done. So do tune in for another video coming up soon. In the meantime, thank you, do subscribe, click like, click thumbs up. The biggest thing I'd really like you to do at the moment is actually share my videos, because that really helps my channel. So share them on Facebook, share them on Twitter, Threads, Instagram, with anyone you can. Just share my videos. I really would appreciate that if you do that at the moment. But I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching this far. If you have reached this point in the video, then you are the best person in the world and you have won the internet for today. However, there is now some videos on the screen. One is a video that YouTube thinks that you would like to watch, and one is my other latest video, so please do watch that, and I'll see you in the next one.